Hey everyone, welcome to the November 26, 2024 meeting of Henderson County Fiscal Court. We are glad you are with us, and for those watching online, we're glad you are with us as well. We will begin as we always do with an invocation, and the Reverend Janet Carden is with us from First United Methodist Church. She's going to lead us in prayer. Please stand.
Let us pray. O gracious God, we come humbly before you, recognizing your sovereignty and authority over every situation. We especially lift up our court system and leaders and pray you grant your divine wisdom and discernment in all. May we remain steadfast in our trust of you, so we ask that you fill us with your peace that surpasses all understanding, and may we acknowledge your powerful presence within us, O God. In the name of Jesus Christ we pray. Amen.
Amen. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Reverend. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Magistrate Starks.
Here.
Magistrate Berry.
Here.
Magistrate Southard.
Here.
Magistrate Tompkins.
Yes, ma'am.
And Magistrate Putman.
Here.
Gentlemen, I believe you have before you the minutes of the November 12th, 2024 Henderson Fiscal Court meeting. Period of review, I'll entertain a motion to approve those.
So move. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other corrections, clarifications, or additions? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we have a very special Judges Scholar program today. We have not one, but two Judges Scholars to honor. Layla Albright was going to be our Judges Scholar last meeting, but through some unusual circumstances, we had to postpone a little bit, but she is with us today along with this meeting's Judges Scholar, Penny Heibarger, and I'm going to call Penny Heibarger up from East Heights Elementary School to kick off the proceedings. Penny, would you join me up front? Okay, we're going to read a special proclamation in your honor.
Whereas Penny Heibarger has been chosen by East Heights Elementary School to be the recipient of the Judges Scholar Award for exceptional efforts in both academics and school activities. And whereas Penny's hard work and dedication in making the most of educational experiences and developing positive relationships with teachers and other students will lead to future success. And whereas success is measured in many different ways, whether it be passing a test, scoring the winning point, achieving a particular goal, or taking the necessary steps for overall improvement. And whereas the Henderson County school system could not let Penny's efforts go unnoticed. And whereas Henderson County Fiscal Court supports the school system and acknowledges those accomplishments as being significant because students such as Penny Heibarger will be our future leaders. And now, therefore, I, Brad Schneider, County Judge Executive of Henderson, join with the Henderson County Fiscal Court to proclaim November 26, 2024 as Penny Heibarger Day in Henderson County, Kentucky.
We're going to do some paparazzi here. If representatives of the school and family and parents come on up and join us for another. Any family members like to join us?
Why don't you stand next to
Yeah.
me?
Yeah.
You guys are family. Sorry. No problem.
Got a lot of
All right. No, no.
Awesome.
Probably why she's here. Takes a note.
Yes. Come on in. Come on in. Perfect.
Gotta have that wide angle.
Take a couple of your.
Yeah.
for the rest of the meeting. Now, if I can get Layla to come on up. Here, we're going to read a proclamation in your honor.
Right. Whereas Layla Albright has been chosen by Cairo Elementary School to be the recipient of the Judges Scholar Award for exceptional efforts in both academics and school activities, and whereas Layla's hard work and dedication in making the most of educational experiences and developing positive relationships with teachers and other students will lead to future success, and whereas success is measured in many different ways by whether it be passing a test, scoring the winning point, achieving a particular goal, or taking the necessary steps for overall improvement. And whereas the Henderson County School System could not let Layla's efforts go unnoticed, and whereas Henderson County Fiscal Court supports the school system and acknowledges these accomplishments as being significant because students such as Layla Albright will be our future leaders. And now, therefore, I, Brad Schneider, County Judge Executive of Henderson, join with the Henderson Fiscal Court to proclaim November 27, 2024 as Layla Albright Day in Henderson County, Kentucky, and ask family, friends, and admirers to join with me in Henderson County Fiscal Court in wishing this young lady a hearty congratulations.
All right, one more. Just a second.
Yeah, I had to step. All right. We have leaders all over this dais here. This is awesome. Congratulations. Congratulations. And congratulations to the family and school personnel who helped these tremendous young ladies. So they get to spend the rest of the meeting up watching how the sausage is made, as it were. Some of it's exciting, some of it's not, but as Mr. Goode always says, it's always important. So congratulations. We have with us our newly appointed airport director, Emily Herron, and I've invited Emily to come introduce herself to the court, tell us a little bit about yourself, and perhaps map out some goals that you have in the new regime.
Good morning. I'm Emily Herron, as Judge Schneider said. I am a resident of Ohio County, originally from Florida, but have been in Western Kentucky for several years now. I love Henderson, this community. I've been here since the early September, and this community is amazing. So well done for everyone that has helped make it so. I was in Madisonville the last 4.5 years as the airport manager there. Before that, I worked in the school system as a family resource coordinator for 10 years. So I love seeing everything that's going on with the school. That's awesome. So I am a private pilot. I've been around aviation my entire life and didn't get into airport management until about 5 years ago, but am absolutely loving it, kind of getting to live out my hobbies and my passions every day at work, so that's pretty cool. We have really, really exciting things going on at the Henderson City County Airport, and I know you guys know some about that. There's been a project that we are finally getting ready to see come to fruition in 2025 that has been an ongoing thing for the last, 10 years or so? Alan, I know Alan has been working really,
For the
really
last
hard.
100 years.
Yeah. Ever since anyone's been alive, we've been trying to extend this runway. So thankfully, we have the funding now to get that project underway, hopefully as soon as the weather allows us to in late spring of 2025. So we will be extending the runway 1,000 feet to make it a 6,500-foot runway, which will just allow us some more, larger aircraft to be able to come in and out. It's going to help us, be able to market to businesses and industries that are wanting to come into Henderson and fly their corporate people in and out, potentially based in aircraft or flight service. at our airport. We're working on developing a really good marketing plan so that we can reach out to these businesses and industries, work closely with economic development, make sure that we're doing what we can to help make sure that these businesses and industries that want to come base here have what they need from our airport, and we can serve them the best that we can. We also, in 2026, have our airport layout plan coming up, and that's just basically kind of a 10 to 20 year look into the future of what do we see happening, what growth do we see happening out at the airport, any hangar developments or business developments, what construction projects, what are the things that we're going to need to be addressing from a maintenance standpoint. So we'll be working closely with our airport engineering firm to get that done in 2026, and that'll kind of help put us on the path of looking at what we need to get done and what projects are going to need to be coming up throughout the next 10 years or so. So that's kind of what we have coming up here in the next few years. So if y'all have any questions or anything, I'm happy to answer.
I believe last week Emily had a reception. Got to meet some of the members of the public who wanted to welcome her, and that was very nice, and really can't talk about that without a huge amount of thanks to Alan Bennett, our many year director of the airport, who has established our airport as one of the best general aviation airports in the entire state.
Absolutely.
No doubt about that.
Yes.
And we will not see the last of Alan. You are going to be hanging on to help shepherd some of these projects, which you've lived with, like I said, for the last 100 years, and make sure they come to fruition. But
Yes.
Many thanks to Alan for your service, and I think at some future point we'll have a little bit more proper recognition of his time at the airport and what he's accomplished. But I've met Emily. I knew Emily before she applied for this job, but she I think part of the aviation committee for Kentuckians for Better Transportation, and we had a chance to talk in Lexington at a meeting, and very impressed, and it was fun to learn more about your background and the fact that you are a licensed pilot, and I think you're, if I'm not mistaken, your father kind of got you hooked on that?
Yes, well, my father and my grandfather. My grandfather was a crop duster and purchased a Piper Cub in 1949. That's been in my family ever since. So 75 years of ownership with our little Piper J3 Cub, and so that's kind of where my joy of flying came from. I grew up with it, as did my dad. So yeah, it's in my blood, as we would say.
You know, crop dust pilots are almost like World War I flying
Yes.
aces.
Yeah, and he lived to be 90, so
Yeah, well-
that's a miracle.
No doubt.
Especially back then, before they had GPS and all that kind of stuff.
Or
He was
even
out there in a
seatbelts, right? Yeah.
450 Stearman, just getting it done. So,
Judge, I'd also like to just kind of echo your sentiments. Welcome.
thank you.
Welcome to Henderson.
Thank you.
And listen, and like I told you, I said, you're living a dream.
Yes, absolutely.
But we're glad to have you.
Well, thank you.
Congratulations.
I'm
And
happy to be
Alan, thank you for all you do and have done, and big shoes to fill. I'm sure
Yes,
you're
absolutely.
capable, quite
Yes.
capable.
I'm very
But
happy to be learning from him over the next few months.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And Emily, I was going to just kind of reiterate some of the things we talked about at the reception the other day
Yes.
about the possibility. I know it
Absolutely.
doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah.
Takes a lot of work and organization to put
Yes.
on maybe a fly-in
Yeah.
of some, where Aviation Day like we've had in the
Yes,
past,
yes.
and possibly maybe air shows someday?
Potentially. So those are two things that I did when I was at Madisonville. We had two large events every year. One was a fly-in, so getting the aviation community from all around the country coming into your airport, into your community. It's a great, economic impact event, and also just, people think of Kentucky who don't live here, and they have kind of their stereotypical thoughts about it, and they think of rural Kentucky probably in one specific way. And then they get here and they're like, oh, wow, this is great. These people are great, and this town is great. So that's something we definitely want to look forward to doing in the future. And then potentially some sort of air show or air expo. I've definitely had some conversations about that. Those events are a great way to get our local community out to the airport and seeing what aviation has to offer. There's probably, if you, poll people in Henderson, you're going to find maybe, a third of the people you poll don't know that we have an airport. They'll say, oh, well, there's an airport in Evansville, and that's where you fly out of when you want to go to Florida. But, most people, if they don't drive to Geneva, they don't know that there's an airport. And they don't know what it does and what its purpose is and how it affects them as a citizen of Henderson County. So those are things we want to be able to, kind of get some community engagement and community involvement, invite people out to the airport so they can see the facilities we have, and they can also learn about what the airport does and how it affects them and affects everybody here. So.
Look forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, well, welcome.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Okay.
So I'm in Geneva every day.
For lunch?
Of course, and breakfast.
I have yet to get there for lunch. I've got to do that.
So the other day, there was a helicopter come in with a flag as big as this building. What was that?
That's actually one of our base tenants. So that
Okay.
was the day of the reception. I think he was
Oh, okay.
he was, kind of wanting to put on a little
He got my
something for the
attention.
people that were out at the airport. So, yep.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions for?
Yeah, it was pretty neat.
I was at the store, I was like, wow.
Yeah. Thank you all so much for having me.
Thank you, welcome.
Appreciate
And
the invitation,
I'm sure
Judge.
we'll be talking a lot in the near future.
Yes, for sure.
Thank you. Renisa Abner has a request of us to move her up in the proceedings a little bit due to a meeting she has scheduled, and if you don't mind, I'd like to adjust the agenda a bit to let Renisa come and take care of her business with us. Is that okay?
Renisa gets what Renisa wants.
I'm not telling her to no.
Thank you again for moving me up. Today, I have the payments to Henderson County for October 2024, and in excess fees for the month, I have $117,671.23, and total remitted is $169,994.07 for the month.
Any questions of Renisa? Get a motion to accept her report?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Can I just say one thing about the election, a little thank
Absolutely.
you? Okay, I just wanted to thank the Sheriff's Department, the Road Department, County Attorney's Office, Steve Gold, everyone worked so well together and always comes through anytime I have a request. It's truly a team effort, and it was very successful. I had a lot of compliments about the workers and just very proud of our community and the people who, all the election workers that came and volunteered, and it was just a great experience. So I just wanted to say publicly, thank you, and thank you to court for always supporting me.
Hey, Renisa, did we have any complaints in Henderson County?
As far as calling in to us, there were a few with traffic a little bit, but we did, the sheriff's deputies who were at every location at the archery center moved out to do traffic control. So, that was alleviated. The lines were very minimal. It really was a
But
good
as
experience.
always, you do a great job.
Well, thank
So,
you. My staff
thank you.
is the ones that really organize it and do the bulk of the work, and I'm so thankful.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you. And please extend our thanks to your team, Renisa.
Absolutely.
The Surface Mine Committee met earlier this morning on a request to release a bond on permit number 8510055, increment 14. The total bond is for $6,900. Magistrate Southard acted as co-chair of the meeting, or excuse me, chairman of the meeting, and there was a vote taken to approve the release of this bond. Am I correct,
Yes.
Magistrate Southard? Any further comments on this?
No, it was, all the requirements were met to release the bond for, on our side, so it was pretty cut and dry.
It was a 1.6 acre parcel, basically that intersected parts of Mason Landing Road, which has now been completed, and very happy about that. And I think the board, if I can characterize it, was easily persuaded to go ahead and release the bond based on its minimal size and the fact that Mason Landing is finished. So we have a recommendation from the Surface Mine Committee to release that bond. Can I get a motion to that
So
effect?
move.
Second.
And we motion in a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. I have a joint appointment to the Tourist Commission. Kelsey Hargis was a member of the commission, but as you know, she was elected to the City Commission and therefore must relinquish her spot on the Tourist Commission beginning 1st of January. The Tourist Commission has recommended to me tabbing Clay Gilliam from the Chamber of Commerce to replace Kelsey on the commission, and I think that's an excellent choice. This is a joint appointment between the judge, a joint appointment between judge and the mayor, so it doesn't take fiscal court approval, but I wanted to let you know that I think that spot's in good hands, and the mayor agrees, so Clay Gilliam will be replacing Kelsey Hargis on the Tourist Commission. Any questions or discussion about that? Next, going to follow up on the workshop that we had last week where we discussed solar farm moratorium. You have in your packet minutes of that workshop, and we need to vote on those. I did have a clarification that I wanted to present to court on that. The very last sentence in the minutes, the next to last sentence in the minutes, indicates that a battery energy storage solutions, that's actually battery energy storage systems, moratorium would follow shortly, and actually I think what we discussed in the meeting was a battery energy storage system moratorium would be considered in the very near future, a little less definitive than what is recorded in the minutes. I'd like to offer those minutes with that clarification added.
So move.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And as a result of that workshop, I've worked with Mr. Gold and members of his office to craft a resolution that's in front of you, is in your packet, asking the Planning Commission to undertake our suggestion of a moratorium, having a public hearing, considering this moratorium, and then making a recommendation back to fiscal court, considering any changes they might offer up or any other discussion involved at that level. Before I read the resolution, any other questions? I'm sure you've had a chance to look that over, and I think it reflects accurately what we talked about. I'm going to go ahead and read the resolution myself, if you don't mind. Resolution originating proposed text amendment to Henderson County zoning ordinance found in the Henderson County Code of Ordinances in Appendix A thereof, which would amend Article XXX, Solar Energy Systems, SES, of said ordinance to institute a 2-year moratorium on Level 2 solar energy systems and referral to the Planning Commission in compliance with KRS 100.211. Whereas the Henderson County Fiscal Court is tasked with providing for the general safety and welfare of the citizens of Henderson County, and whereas stated in 1.01 of the Henderson County zoning ordinance, the purposes of the ordinance include promoting the health, safety, morals, and general welfare of the community to facilitate orderly and harmonious development and the visual character of the community, to regulate the density of population and intensity of land use in order to provide for adequate light and air, to prevent blight, danger, and congestion, and to protect highways, public facilities, including schools and public grounds, commercial, industrial, residential, farmland, and other specific uses which warrant special protection by the community. And whereas in keeping with the Henderson City County Comprehensive Plan adopted pursuant to KRS 100.197, it is the goal of Henderson Fiscal Court to strike a balance between the rights of property owners to maximize the use of their property through responsible economic development and the well-being and quality of life of the citizens of Henderson County. And whereas solar energy systems, SES, installations are emerging throughout the United States and the state of Kentucky as an alternative source of energy, And whereas in the absence of state legislation regulating SES installations, the Henderson City County Planning Commission and the Henderson Fiscal Court adopted Article XXX, Solar Energy Systems, of the Henderson County Zoning Ordinance in 2019, which provided for regulation of Level 2 SES installations as conditional uses in industrial zones. And whereas with the passage of House Bill 4 in 2023, clarity has been provided for potential regulation of Level 2 SES installations, including but not limited to setback distances, decommissioning bonds, and other public protections. And whereas the Henderson Fiscal Court has concerns about the sufficiency of the existing county regulations on Level 2 SES installations, based upon observations of Level 2 SES installations being constructed under the current ordinance, including but not limited to a deleterious effect upon effective water drainage, glare experienced by drivers on roadways, potential insufficiency of vegetation buffers, and potential damage to public roads due to increased water runoff. And whereas the Henderson County Fiscal Court deems it in the best interest of the residents of Henderson County for both the Fiscal Court and the Henderson City County Planning Commission, HCCPC, to further analyze and study the potential negative effects of Level 2 SES installations, specifically including study of empirical data observed from existing such installations to determine if amendments to or repeal of existing regulations are necessary to reduce the negative effects of Level 2 SES installations. And whereas the Henderson Fiscal Court deems it in the best interest of the residents of Henderson County to originate a text amendment to the zoning ordinance which would initiate the consideration of a temporary 2-year moratorium on the filing, processing, review, and acceptance of all applications for Level 2 SES installations by the HCCPC and the Henderson County Board of Zoning Adjustment, HCBOZA, in order to ensure the public health, safety, and general welfare, and to provide sufficient time for the analysis and careful consideration of the impact of Level 2 SES installations, and to provide sufficient time for such considerations to be incorporated into revisions to the Henderson City County Comprehensive Plan. Now therefore be it resolved by the Henderson County Fiscal Court as follows. Number 1, pursuant to KRS 100.2113, the Henderson Fiscal Court hereby proposes and originates the amendment of the Article XXX Solar Energy Systems, SES, of the Henderson County Zoning Ordinance by adding the new section numbered and entitled 30.04 Moratorium, which shall state as follows. The remainder of this article and all other ordinances notwithstanding, there is hereby imposed a moratorium on the filing, processing, review, and acceptance by the Henderson Fiscal Court, the Henderson City County Planning Commission, the Henderson County Board of Zoning Adjustment, or any other department, subdivision, agency, board, or commission of Henderson County government of any and all applications for rezoning, conditional use permits, or other types of applications for Level 2 solar energy system, SES installation. This moratorium shall remain in effect until February 1st, 2027, or once amendments to this article, if any, are approved by the Henderson County Fiscal Court, whichever comes first, unless repealed or extended. The Henderson Fiscal Court hereby directs and requests the HCCPC, in compliance with applicable laws, to hold at least one public hearing after notice is required by KRS Chapter 424, and make a recommendation as to the text of the amendment and whether the amendment shall be approved or disapproved, and to state the reasons for its recommendation. That is the resolution. Before we discuss this, I have one thing I'd like to add. After the workshop was over, in fact, the very next morning I was contacted by representatives of Cordelia Power, which is planning, just in the planning stages of what they're calling Rock Bluff Energy Park in the Hebbardsville area. And that development would include both wind turbines and a Level 2 solar farm. And they asked if there was a potential that they would be unfairly covered in this moratorium, because in good portion of their solar farm plan is to establish those facilities on reclaimed mine ground out near Hebbardsville. And they seem to suggest that because they were not going to be developing near a county road, neither the potential damage to county roads stipulation in this moratorium, nor the glare factor on county roads really applied to them, neither the vegetative buffer point that we made, because they were not going to be required to build up any vegetative buffers on the grounds that they were choosing because they're not near homes. It is an interesting point and duly noted. I would suggest that the time for Cordelio to make that argument is during the public hearing in front of the Planning Commission, and perhaps let the Planning Commission decide whether we might alter our moratorium in such a way or not. Do any members of the court have any thoughts about the suggestion that a solar farm built on reclaimed mine ground not near a county road and not requiring vegetative buffering should not be, at this point, covered in the moratorium?
I think it should be covered just like the rest of them. Let the Planning and Zoning Board, if they recommend something to us, we can discuss it at that time, but here's where we are.
You know,
Anybody
Judge,
disagree
there
with
was one person that had a pretty strong opinion about this as well. That was at that meeting, and I had an opportunity to speak with her pretty much at length. And I think she may have talked to a couple other magistrates. But she said that she did not want that, even though that was on that old mining ground. They own some land, I guess, maybe adjacent to what we're talking about, and she strongly opposed that. So I'm kind of like Taylor on this thing. I think maybe we go on and pass this on and include them in that moratorium at this particular time.
Yeah, again, they'll have a
And
chance
if something
to...
else comes up, you know, maybe we go back and revisit that particular part, so.
In the public hearing, they will have a chance to make their case
Gotcha.
publicly and support it. There is always the option we have when eventually the moratorium comes back to us for final approval, that we can hold our own public hearing and have those comments as well. It's our choice. So there will be and there will be opportunities for Cordelio or anybody else to make any arguments against the basic tenets of this moratorium.
I guess I'm just kind of, let's wait and see, you know, just give it back to the Planning Commission, come back with that recommendation, and look at it again.
Okay. Any other discussion on that? So we have the resolution in front of us. It's been read. To have a motion to accept the resolution. Approve the
So
resolution.
moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Next, I'm going to ask Kurt Wiesen, Deputy Judge, to come and give us the latest on our move to take cleaning of the courthouse under our umbrella more directly. Kurt?
Okay, good morning, again. If you know, back in the end of July, we hired a new maintenance person, and part of the, we talked about at that time of hiring a new maintenance person was taking our cleaning contract for this building in-house. We had submitted the paperwork, notifying the cleaning company we're going to do that, and as of December 1st, we will take over cleaning of this building. With taking over the cleaning of the building, we needed to create 2 new positions, an evening, well, actually, we're replacing our evening maintenance supervisor, who currently just supervises a 2-person cleaning crew, and turning that position into a supervisor and a cleaner. So revamping that position a little bit, and then adding a part-time cleaning position. So both positions are 4 to 8, Monday through Friday positions. And at this point, we are requesting permission to hire Mary Stone in the position of the evening supervisor and cleaning person at a rate of $15 per hour, beginning December 2nd. And the second person, we have a couple applicants. We do not have a final name yet, but seeing as the next court does not meet till December 17th, we'd like to go ahead and get the court's permission to, upon Angela and I's approval of, or finding the right applicant for this, go ahead and hire that person at a rate of $13.87 an hour.
I'll make the motion to allow them to hire and find the second person as well at those
Second.
rates.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Just as a reminder, we, in our estimation of the cost here, believe that we will save a little money versus the amount we've been paying Clean Team to clean the building. But even more importantly than that, we'll have a little bit more control over the quality of the work, the extent of the work, and I think that will make working conditions inside the building better for everybody. So, anything you'd like to add to that, Kurt?
Yeah, and I'll add, Mary has been our cleaning person. She was with Franz, she was with Clean Team. So she's been in the courthouse here as our primary cleaner
Several years now.
for, what, 4 years? 4 or 5 years. So she's very familiar with the building, very familiar with the people in the building. So it's, I think it's going to be a great step for her.
She's had the requisite background checks. We will do a background check on anybody we hire to help clean the building. Mary knows the rules about certain sensitive areas of the building. That's what makes her experience very valuable to us. And we think we will see a better result from all this. Any other questions? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Kurt. You also have a bid request for cleaning of the Judicial Center across the street.
Yes, yes, well, we'd like to go out for bids for the Judicial Center this year.
And to clarify, we have not had the same sort of issues with the crew across the street that we've experienced here in the courthouse, so continuing to contract that out, we feel comfortable with that, and we'll see what kind of bids we get. Get a motion to allow that to go out to bid?
So move.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you all.
Thank you.
I'll call on Nick Stallings, County Engineer, to talk a little bit about the infamous restrooms at Stanley Watkins Park, which have been a long time coming, almost as long as all the stuff at the airport. But we have some movement on that, right, Nick?
Absolutely. So you all can see on your screens, this is kind of a schematic of what bathrooms will look like. They are going to be attached to the building right now that we rent out. It will serve two purposes, obviously for the people who rent the building. Now they have actual brick and mortar bathrooms rather than porta-johns. And then it will also be open to the public. That's one of the things that the grant requires. So it will have access, exterior access to it, so the people who rent the building, all they gotta do is go that side door by the kitchen, walk over and go to the men's or women's restroom. It's still covered all the way through, so I don't have to worry about getting out in the rain and that thing. Plus it'll also be open for anybody using the park throughout the week, that they can use it also. So what I'm asking for is for bids to do this construction. Another reason why we selected to put it on the side of the building is that way we'll have to winterize it in the winter. A lot of our bathrooms we have to winterize, obviously because of code reasons, and we shut them down for the winter. This way we can get heat and air from the building itself because it stays conditioned year round. So now that way we keep the bathrooms open up year round. So we have water access, we have electric, and we have HVAC there, so we can keep these bathrooms open year round. That's it.
I move to let him go out for bids.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, and also, Nick, we had enough of a grant to build a second bathroom, set of bathrooms.
Yes.
That's on hold for now.
Yes, it's on hold because the area out at the park was old strip mine, as you all aware. The problem is that soil that's at the top, 2 or 3 feet, is not feasible to have lateral lines in. The Green River Health Department cannot approve that because it doesn't perk like it needs to. The way we got these bathrooms approved is we actually cut an area out that we were going to put the lateral lines in, and we went and bought soil as a borrow pit that would pass, and actually brought in there and then placed it in the area that we did. We let it sit for a year, and then we were able to get approval. Where we were going to select the bathrooms to go in the front of the park did not pass. The only problem is by the time we do the year-round waiting for it to settle and waiting for them to come in and get the approval, this grant will be null and void because you're only allowed so many years to get that done. So that's kind of a holdup that we will have, that we cannot build the bathrooms with that one, but we will ask for another grant, and then we will select a place for it. So that way we can get new dirt in there and get it to be approved.
Is it possible to ask for an extension of the grant?
Absolutely, and we can. So that a way to see if we're allowed to do that, but we'll have some excess funding from this one that will not be used if we do that, if they do not give us an extension.
Okay.
But it's just the nature of the beast of getting a park on old strip mine land is all your topsoil is gone, and now you just have soil that just can't, hold any type of vegetation or lateral lines unless you do conditioning of the soil.
Gotcha. Okay, so we have a motion and a second to put this out to bid. Any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nick, you have a couple other items?
Yes, also going out for bid first of the year for rock, concrete, culvert pipe, fuel is that I normally do for the first part of the year. I'm asking to go out for bid for those, so that way we can have them opened up first meeting of January. So we'll have our opening and actually have prices to be able to go on. Now, added to that, there will be, I'm asking for 2 other bids that will have to go out separate, depending on the deadline for the newspaper, the Gleaner. But what I want to do is I'd like to get asphalt price for FOB, which is picking up at the lot, at the asphalt plant with their own equipment, and get a price to be laid by ton for a contractor. The way that works is if we have situations that we've got to pave ourselves, and we can go pick up, 15, 20, 25 tons, we can do it ourselves, because obviously the cost of the contractor, incurs to have a small amount of that and bring all the equipment in, place it. It's financially non-feasible for us to keep adding that on versus us picking asphalt up by ourselves. We can place it with our material, with our equipment, and then we can have small patches in places we need to, and not have to get the contractor to come in.
I'll make the motion and let him go out for bids.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other questions?
So when we go out for bids, is Kurt going to actually solicit bids, or I know we have to put it in the paper and all that, but
Yeah, they'll work together. Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And this next one, take time to explain that a little bit, Nick.
Okay, as you all recall, it's been a couple months ago, we received the SS4A, which is a federal highways grant. I've tried for 3 years to get, finally got it this year, to upgrade our roads, to help make them safe. So that's what we were able to get. We got a $3.3 million grant. The total is $4.1 million because we've got to come up with 20% as a match, either in kind or green money back to the federal highways.
When you use the words green money, he means cash.
Yeah.
I know that's probably a KYTC technical term.
No, that's an
but-
Excel's current. So it's either quarters, pennies, whatever you want to pay it with. So either way it's set up is we have to come up with like $829,000. That is our match to receive the $3.3 million over the 5-year project. There is a grant out there that I was kind of perked up about. that the federal highways has given money to states just for particular use to help out counties and cities, which we are a county, to help make that match for federal highway grants. What helps our position is we've already received the grant, which is one of the contingencies to get this program. So what the program works is your population of the county will suggest how much you have to pay for the match. So the way we have it set up is we run the grant, we would get the $829,000 for our match at a 3% cost to the county. So we've got a $24,000 and change match that we have to give them in cash for the receiving the difference for the match plus the federal highway government SS4A. So the way they put this grant in place is to help out cities and counties to make up the difference in the match. A lot of federal grants are 50-50 match. So for a county to come up with park money, just like our land and water grant that we're doing the bathrooms with, is a 50-50 match. A lot of times that may steer counties and cities away from actually going for the grant because of the match. This is money to help that out. They've got $20 million that was given to the state to allow that to happen. Which, while we're going for this, obviously to be able to get the match, and then for our match part of it, and then the rest of it will be a match back to the federal government.
So the resolution before us is to give Nick the green light to go ahead and pursue this help with the match, and yeah, fingers crossed we get that. So I'll have anything else to add?
No, that's it.
Any other questions? I'll have the clerk read the resolution.
Adoption of a resolution of Henderson County authorizing the completion and filing of a government resources accelerating needed transformation grant program of 2024 project application for up to $663,535 in grant program of 2024 funds with the Cabinet for Economic Development, or CED, authorizing and directing the judge executive to execute any documents which are deemed necessary by CED to carry out this project, and authorizing the authorized representative to act as the authorized correspondent for this project, permitting review and execution of all agreements and requests of all disbursements related to the grant program of 2024. Whereas the entity desires to promote and carry out community development efforts on behalf of the residents of Henderson County by supporting the grant program of the 2024 project, and whereas the entity is submitting or has submitted an application for the following federal grant program, Safe Streets and Roads for All, SS4A, with the intent to access federal grant resources that are in the public interest and for a public purpose, may seek funding assistance in preparing and/or completing application for federal resources, whereas it recognizes that the grant program of 2024 monies available to the entity for the purposes stated herein pursuant to KRS 147A.150 to 147A.166 imposes certain obligations and responsibilities upon the entity and will require, among other things, 1, approval of satisfactory applications submitted to CED for approval, 2, proper registration to do business within the Commonwealth, and 3, other obligations of the entity in connection with receiving the grant program of 2024 monies for the purposes stated herein. Now, therefore, it be resolved this 26th day of November 2024 by the county that a grant program of 2024 application on behalf of the entity for grant program of 2024 monies up to $663,535 for the Henderson County Drive to Zero project shall be submitted to CED. The entity shall provide such additional information and furnish such documents as may be required, and the authorized representative shall act as the authorized correspondent for this project.
There are no other questions or discussion. Entertain a motion to approve that.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any other comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And good luck.
Thanks, Nick.
Next, we have a resolution regarding annual spay and neuter grant, and Melinda Whitlock from the Humane Society Animal Control is with us. Any comments about this?
No, this is the, sorry, I'm short. This is the basic grant that we use to get reimbursement for the spay and neuters. It is a simple sheet that we fill out for every vet day. The vet signs off upon completion of it, and it includes all the totals. We total it up. I send it to the Kentucky Ag Department, and it's very simple, and it's an easy way to get money back.
Yeah. I'll have the clerk read just the summary at the top, if that's okay with everybody.
Please.
Resolution authorizing acceptance of Kentucky Department of Agricultural Animal Control Advisory Board Spay-Neuter Kentucky Program Grant Funds in the amount of $1,146 and authorizing the county judge executive to execute grant award documents on behalf of the Henderson County.
Motion to approve that.
So moved.
Motion is second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Get it? You also have the animal control report.
I do. Before I start the report, I'd like to call up my president, Stacy.
Sure.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I know sometimes when I come in, it's like, oh, God, what's she want now? No, anyway, wanted to let fiscal court know that my treasurer and I have contacted accountants, CPAs all over the tri-state, Owensboro, Evansville, Union, I mean, everywhere. Apparently CPAs are getting away from doing audits because they're not cost effective. That's what we're hearing. Our CPA that's been doing it for 10 years is not doing audits anymore unless we pay them $18,000. Every year they would up it and never give us a reason. And then they could have been nice and told me about this when they did our last year's fiscal year's audit, and I could have put it in the budget. But we only budgeted $9,000 because that's what they charged us for the last year. But they said they had $20,000 in that audit, so they would not do it for any less than $18,000. So all I have is $9,000, and we're $9,000 needed to get that audit done. And the contract states we have to do the audit, but we don't have the funding. We don't have, I mean, Humane Society doesn't have the other $9,000. And I can't find it in animal control because my budget that I did every penny was, allotted for. So I'm kind of between a rock and a hard place. It's something we have to do, but they've really put us in a bind. And it's not just us, it's other businesses too that are struggling to be able to get audits done because they're not cost effective and they're wanting to get away from them. And that's a major corporation, ATA, that won't even do audits anymore.
So you didn't find anybody to give you a price, they just don't do audits?
No, they said that 18,000, everybody we called, yeah, they said that 18,000 is a good number. Yeah, that's how bad, that's the problem we're running into. And they didn't tell us this until we started sending them our stuff to do last fiscal year audit. And then, oh, by the way, we're not doing your audit. So and I've spent months trying to find somebody to do it for less, and I can't find anybody. I've talked to Brenda, and I called the state. They said we're not state, and local government. We're not local government. She gave me those options, and I thank you so much, Brenda, for talking with me about that. She at least eased my stress. But since, we're a private entity holding a contract, they won't give us any information.
So Brenda, did we inquire by chance with Hunter CPA about this? No. Well, remind me average total bill we've gotten from Hunter over the last few years for 19? So to give you, Hunter CPA has audited the county, the entirety of the county audit for 19. So obviously, it sounds to me like some of these CPA firms are just throwing a number out there just to make you go away.
Yes, that's exactly it. Actually, some of them told us that.
What I'd like to do is table this for a moment and maybe a meeting, and let Brenda and I explore this a little farther. We may have a solution.
Thank you so much.
So I
Go
have a
ahead.
question. Your contract, it's with us, right? The city and
Correct.
county,
Correct.
It's not something that's required by the state, it's required by the
No,
city
it's
and county.
required by the contract. Basically, the reason for an audit is because Humane Society holds the contract for animal control. We have two separate books.
Right.
Through the years, I think in years and years ago, the Humane Society side was trying to dip, and I'm talking way back, was dipping into animal control funds.
Right.
So this is to protect the county, or when we had the city contract, but this is to protect, showing that Humane Society is not using any animal control money. That's why we have to do the audit, because people in the past didn't do what they were supposed to be doing.
Right. Thank you.
Yep.
Let Brenda and I research this a little bit for you, if you don't mind.
Thank you so much.
You do have the P&L statement from animal control in front of you, as well as some data on animal control work. Anything you'd like to add to that, Melinda?
Well, as always, that's provided you with the data matrix, which shows the intake, and the chart that shows all calls we were on for the month of October. Our at-large is always our biggest call. Our welfare checks will go up as it gets colder. So as it starts to become colder and colder, we'll get more welfare checks to go check on outside animals. So if you happen to get any phone calls, let them know that we're doing the best we can. There's only 3 officers and myself, so we will go out and make sure they have water. So, but yeah, we did have a few cases of biting. We had a few emergency boarding, several follow-ups. It actually only shows 2, but I know there's probably more than that. They were in October, and they'll be followed up in November. So, because every follow-up is usually 10 days, so if it hits at the end, it'll follow up into the next month. We still have several injured animals from time to time, which is something we always go out on. And we are getting more confidence in the community of calling us whenever something is wrong. So that's always nice. Other than that, I don't really have anything else. They're still very picky about the new truck. So, yeah. So far, I think the oil change light has never come on. Nothing's ever been wrong with it. And they call each other out when they leave trash in it, so it's always delightful. So, all right. Any questions?
Staffing still at a good place?
We are. We're the best place we have been since I started. Yeah, we keep just building a better and better team. I think it's probably because I demand such a work ethic, because I'm there all the time, and I want them to be there and do whatever's necessary.
We
All right.
appreciate that.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
You also have in your packet the detention center report. Jailer Todd, anything you'd like to add?
Well, our person is still on the screen. They have begun our solar panels. We signed it in March, and so by the end of a year, they should be all finished.
And before anybody makes any comments, considering our current discussions,
I was getting ready to
this
say
is a very
that.
small one right out behind the
Yeah.
jail, just designed to serve the jail, so thank you very much.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
it's a similar size to the array we have on top of the Judicial Center, which has been very effective for us. Similar arrangement, a 10-year lease that leaves the maintenance and
The upkeep.
other considerations, the responsibility of Marilite until the end of that lease. And so hopefully it'll be a boon to your utility bill.
Right, yeah, it's supposed to be. Yeah, the figures show about half. So we're
Half
excited about
your utility bill, what you're thinking?
it. And plus your wattage rate is lower also. So.
Right. So
We'll
if we build a credit with, I guess y'all are city, right? Henderson Municipal. If we build a credit up, and when I say credit, we're making more electricity than we're using. Do we get to bank that credit, or do we lose it at the end of every year?
Credit,
That is, credit's docked against our bill somewhat.
yeah, and also the credit, they take the excess electric and they resell it on the market.
That's one of the reasons we got a discounted
Yeah,
rate, deeply
right.
discounted rate,
Mhm.
is for their ability to take some of that excess power and sell it back. So, just so you know, on our, I think I've mentioned this more than once, our utility bill, power bill on the Judicial Center, even with the monthly lease payments that we make, has been reduced by about $1,000. So far, we're seeing the numbers that AmeriLight predicted, which is great. And one of the reasons we're doing this is the jail is try to help them save anywhere they can. So,
Absolutely.
they get an idea on the timeline when they finish.
I stopped yesterday and asked them, they said they'd be finished with the frames by the end of the month, and then they'll start installing the actual panels.
Yeah.
So he said hopefully weather and.
And as you can imagine, being a 24-hour facility, 7 days a week, the power bill at the jail is not insubstantial.
Right, and that's about a week and a half, 2 weeks of work right there.
Just to reiterate, those are level 1 systems, not level 2.
Yes. Level 1 system, that's right. And it is in the city limits. But, anything else from your?
We continue to increase, I guess, for businesses as well. Or we've got 543 total, 208 federals, 128 state, 161 county. And SAP, and then 2 fugitives. That's fugitives that are waiting to go to Vanderbilt and one Hardin County.
Can you talk a little bit about this request from the DOC?
Yeah, if you can remember, we increased our male and female beds, SAP programs. And since we're overpopulated, they cannot give us any more. So they're asking us to modify our contract back to basically where it was. But we've suggested an alternative that would help us get our solar program, which we need. And I think they've emailed us back and said, that looks good. We probably do our, what we suggested, and that's just taking 10 of the males and putting it over to the females to give us 10 beds for SWORD, which SWORD is a preventive, SWORD stands for Support of Others in Active Recovery. That's basically, it just helps them to go back into society, with some education and just supporting each other in that recovery of drugs. So that's needed, and I think we need to look at more programs to help individuals when they are released to go into some kind of program and get help, so we won't have that reoccurrence. So, other than that, we're doing well.
Bruce, do you have doesn't have to be exact, but a figure, what kind of loss of revenue would you be looking at by just doing that? Just ballpark.
I got somebody looking at that. It's about, it's $10 more a bed for a SWORD program. So I know it's I'm thinking
minimal.
Like in the 20,000, something like that.
20,000.
Yes, and if we're,
and we have to do it.
we have to do.
I mean, reduce the numbers.
Yeah, they won't give us
there's
any
no-
more without being overpopulated.
Gotcha.
I know you've done some preliminary work on potential expansion of the jail.
I'd like to meet with our jail masters here in the future, and we've looked at doing a study, having a study done by Sinclair. I've spoken with
Feasibility
them.
study.
Feasibility studies. And so that's probably next. We do that, and then that'll tell us.
Thank you, Bruce.
Yep.
Doing a lot of good work out there. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Need a motion to approve the jailer's report.
So moved.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Mr. Gold. Your report.
Judge, I've got several checks today. First being payment for health insurance, $14,780.38, $550.17. For dental and life, another dental and life, $13.89. Aflac, $161.81. Interest, $123.75. And a two-thirds reimbursement from the state, $3,756.54, bringing today's total to $19,386.57, and bringing the fiscal year total to date to $114,677.55. Our judge's scholar says she's never handled $19,386.57 before. My apologies that you don't get to.
No, actually, I'm going to take it over there.
Okay.
I was going to say, Leila can handle it. Leila can handle the talk as well.
Now, Pastor D'Angelo.
Well done.
Easy
Well
come,
done.
easy go.
And I always say it's just like being an adult. You get money and then have to turn it over to the government.
Yep.
You know?
That really looked like government around
Yeah,
there.
yeah. That was definitely very government.
Was that a lateral?
But none of the bucket leaked, which was great.
We get a motion to
Motion to
approve the-
accept county
Second.
attorney's report.
We have a
Second.
motion and a second. I think I heard a motion and a second to accept the county attorney's report. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Now I'd like to call up Treasurer Ryder. We have several bits of business.
This is the first reading of Budget Amendment Number 2 for the current fiscal year, amending into the budget unanticipated receipts of $288,394.43 with corresponding expenditures of $288,394.43. The breakdown for this budget amendment is as follows. Increased receipts and expenditures for the EMA of $9,778. This represents $4,528 for a drone grant received from the Community Foundation of West Kentucky, which was received earlier this fiscal year. Also, $5,250, which is proceeds from a surplus command trailer which was sold through Gov Deals earlier this fiscal year. The second is increased receipts and expenditures for Sheriff's Department of $28,616.43. This is for a vendor reimbursement received for a voided check which was processed by the vendor. The last is the State Grants Fund, amending into the budget $250,000 from the prior year carryover with the expenditure line of contingency appropriation for future transfers. This is an accumulation of deposits and/or EFTs over the years which should have gone to other funds, and the State Grants Fund has been reconciled for restricted and unrestricted uses to determine that at least this amount of funding can be transferred to another fund. Total budget amendment is $288,394.43.
Judge, I'd move that we accept.
Second.
First vote on the budget amendment.
Yes.
We have a motion and a second. Any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And fund transfers next. Yep.
The fund transfers are as presented, and this is redistributing appropriations within the existing budget. you will see where we are transferring from contingent appropriations to airboard maintenance for the county's match of the airport runway grant, which is done on an annual basis. The remaining three are for, to cover excess or budgets were underestimated. And also, there is a transfer to the Regional Economic Development of line for $7,500, and is to come from the Contingent Appropriations General Fund, and this is for the Alpha Maps for retail recruitment, which was approved in the September 24th meeting. I also have cash transfers. From the payroll fund to the health insurance fund, $14,780.38. This is to correct the September 2024 deposit error. From the HRA fund to the health insurance fund, $14,780.38. This is to correct the October 22nd, 2024 deposit error. From the state grants fund to the jail in the amount of $3,196. This is to correct an electronic fund transfer from the Bureau of Prisons for the August 2024 payment. Also, from the general fund to the road department, $500,000. This is a budgeted transfer.
Any other questions on the transfers?
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Finance Committee did meet yesterday and over all these transfers and transactions. Any other things to add from the Finance Committee members?
Just real short, everything is looking well.
Yes. Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
You have received your bank balances after paying claims today. Your day-to-day appropriation should be at approximately 41%. I have additional claims from the general fund to Gannett, Indiana, Kentucky, local IQ, $3,005.60. This is for newspaper advertising and is to come from the election advertising and printing appropriation line. To government forms and supplies, $4,298.13. This is for forms and is to come from the elections office clerks, from the clerk's office supplies and postage appropriation line. To KCCA, Kentucky Counties Clerks Association, $2,600. This is for annual dues and is to come from the clerk's membership and association appropriation line. That's all.
Move to pay the claims.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any other questions or discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you. Under old business, I think everybody remembers several months ago during the legislative session, we encouraged advocates for the conference center being pushed for Audubon State Park to go to the state legislature and try to get as much money as they could to help fund that project, and we hope that any money that might come from the county would be in addition to money gained from the state legislature. And the good news is I think we all know, advocates, the mayor, I'd made a trip or two in that regard, were able to secure $10 million from this last legislative session towards the building of the conference center, which was their goal. And that includes money for the ingress and egress of the new road leading out of the park. So very successful advocacy effort for our group. We are in the midst of finalizing an agreement with State Parks over how to get the project going. I believe that agreement will probably be reached shortly and eventually come before this group if we are partial to it. I believe we have all expressed our support for the project. We will bring that agreement to this board as soon as it is ready in the estimation of our council and the city and also State Parks. As you know, the last figure that we had talked about contributing was $2.5 million. The agreement, as I have seen it, once it's in place and when the project gets underway, they will be asking for portions of that from both the city and county, if we agree, and kind of a pay-as-you-go model as they build it. Anticipating that, I think it is probably at the time if we at least stage that money, get it ready to go. As you know, it's a budget amendment, takes 2 readings. It could be as early as sometime in January that maybe a first installment would be requested of us. So I'd like to get a vote approving at least the beginning of the process of amending in $2.5 million to the budget. We have many votes to take to, again, to allocate that money, but I'd like to begin that process now so we're ready. Mr. Gold, anything you'd like to add to that conversation? We've amended in money before. It's normal process, but, and obviously we have it. Issues certainly not availability of funds if we decide to. But. I'm sorry, Brenda?
It is in current prior
Yeah, yeah. So, any thoughts about that?
We did confirm that they built in margins for price increases as these things take forever to get through our process. So we committed $2.5 million. They're not going to come back to us and say, oh, well, it took us too long to get this done. Now we want $3 million.
I think we should be adamant that our end of this is $2.5 million.
Just want to make sure. Thank you, sir.
Judge, is that lump sum or spread out over time as so much progress on the park goes?
Mr. Gold might remind me if I read the initial agreement correctly, and I don't think this will change, but it's not an upfront payment of 2.5. It is portions as we go. And one thing Mr. Gold and Don Kelsey, city attorney, wanted to be sure that if for some reason the project was interrupted, that we wouldn't be left holding the bag on having committed money without some sort of recourse. Very careful about that. So.
And one of the big issues is we wanted to share in risk the same as the state. Without getting too far into the details, because we've made a response requesting changes, but the initial agreement, they were basically all of the design and everything. They were front-loading the city and county's money to do all of that, and then if things didn't go through, we would lose our money and they would still have all of their money. So we have made suggested revisions to make that more proportional, to where everybody's sharing in the costs more equally, or more proportionally, if that makes sense.
Judge, are you asking for a motion to approve the 2.5 today?
I'm asking for a motion to amend the 2.5 into our budget. Yeah, we will. I think the ultimate vote on agreeing to participate will be approving the agreement once it's presented to us.
Mm-hmm. MOA. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this, just so go on the record here that I'm a no. I've been a no on this from the start. So we're voting just to put the money in a pot, not voting on the project, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
I'll make that motion, Judge, for the 2.5.
We have a motion and a second to begin the process of amending $2.5 million into our budget. That's what the motion's for. So, any other questions, comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. I know Nick has a request regarding our handling of waste tires, and many of you may know that our typical policy out at the road department is to accept up to 4 normal vehicle waste tires from people who want to bring them to us, but we're having trouble dealing with just 4. And a little discussion about this, and I thought it'd be good for Nick to bring that issue to us.
Okay, just to recap what the judge said, normally we limit it to 4 tires because simply if you were if you went and got your tires changed, say Best One or wherever you go, and they got a tire fee, you don't want to pay the tire fee, you would take the tires with you. We as a county we accept waste tires, but we said typically a single driver should have no more than 4 tires a year because you're not replacing tires every year. So we made it at 4. Well, now we're getting people coming in that says, hey, I've got 8, I've been cleaning up this property, I've got 12, I've got 40, whatever it is, right? And if they're coming in and cleaning up a property, then I'm wondering if we should approve more than 4 tires because they're cleaning up a property. So that way we don't have to pick up in the creek later or somewhere on the side of a road later. I'm not saying it's going to completely get rid of all the waste tires we find out on the road, because some people just don't want to take the time to come by the office while we're open. Saturday night with 15 tires on the side of a Greenville Road sounds easy, right? And we're going to find them. We'll have to come back and pick the tires up later. I get it. We can't solve all the problems with waste tires. But I was asking, we're out so much money a year, take them to Liberty Tire in Marion. It's roughly about $1,000 a trip for a row back of tires. We can fill up a row back of tires in a little over 2 months. So we may take 7, 8 trips a year for waste tires. I was asking if there's a way that we could possibly ask 4 tires free and then charge per tire after that. Because I don't want to give up the opportunity of taking waste tires from somebody cleaning up a property and making the county better, but also we can't put it all completely on the taxpayers' dollars to get rid of all these tires that are on somebody's property. Basically, I'm asking, is there a possibility we could do some type of per tire charge above 4 tires?
I'd support that. I think that's more than fair.
And maybe we could make it an amount that wouldn't deter people from bringing them, but would also compensate us a bit and help defer those costs. And waste tire dumps are still a big problem in our community. So what I'd like to do, do we all feel the same, that we are very interested in this possibility?
I am.
Nick, if you don't mind, maybe sketch out a plan, how to collect the money, how to administer this a little bit, and then maybe bring it back to court for approval, because anytime we're handling, lots of cash, potentially lots of cash, we have to account for that. We have to have a little procedure in place. So would that be acceptable? Explore this a little bit and maybe bring a plan back?
Yeah, I'm a good sketcher, so it works out.
Are you sure?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Is that acceptable to court, maybe?
Yes, sir.
And if it's not something you want to tackle completely, feel free to delegate, and maybe Eric could bring us back a plan, but.
Okay.
I was just curious, are you aware of any other counties that may offer something similar, or are we kind of exploring this new water on our own?
No, I don't, but we can explore the waters. We can do it on our own. I'm just trying to figure out a way that we can help people who are like, hey, my taxpayers' money is paying for these tires that on a piece of property that's been there for 20 years kind of thing. I'm trying to make it fair for everybody, plus give these people an avenue cheaply to get rid of tires or trying to help clean out the county and not have to take them to the transfer station somewhere or drive them down to Marion and pay $220 a ton, because that's what the new price is now to get rid of tires. So it keeps them from having to drive all the way down to Marion and get rid of the tires they picked up and clean up off our lot. So we're trying to give them an avenue to get the tires there. We'll take care of them at that point in time, but to help the taxpayers really feel like they're getting the benefit too.
This is why I like this gentleman so much, because he's willing to think about things that probably no one's ever thought about, and try to find a good way, a right way to do things. So good luck.
All right.
Is there anything we can do to help?
So Judge, is there any other options about the deposit we talked about the money? Is there any other option about bringing it every day?
The state's pretty adamant about that, and they've reminded us more than once.
So what we're working on now is a bank teller chute that we can put it in there and push a button and just shoot that little thing over to you all. Absolutely, just shoot it over. We're working on it right now just to get it over here.
Problem is, I have a hard
culvert.
time telling when Nick's joking and when he's not, because he's so deadpan.
I don't know, we're working on that too, we're sketching it out.
Did you have something else, Nick?
One thing that I did this group thinking is, this morning, I actually talked with our grad lady who's helping me on the grant for the $800,000. She said that we can ask for the full match. So I know I hate to do this to you, but the actual resolution that I have you all talk about today had the $663,000. That's what I was trying to ask for, but she said this morning I could ask for the full match amount, which is $829,418.
829, 214?
418.
418. Can I get a motion to amend that resolution to reflect the total amount being asked for as $829,418?
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I hope that's sufficient. Our vote.
So let's recap this, so everybody who's on YouTube who's trying to figure out money, we will get basically, let's make it easy, $4.1 million for the cost from the county of $24,883.
That's a good deal, if we
Now-
get the grant.
Yeah, if we get the grant. Now, taking that to the bank, that'd be nice, right? So we're looking at possibly getting 115 miles of county road, clean right-of-ways, new signs over all 375 miles of road for $24,000, which is a pretty awesome deal.
Not
And also-
everybody has a county engineer like we do.
Yeah. And as a reminder, this is not new asphalt. This is everything but asphalt.
This is widen the roads, and where we can, we'll like to widen some of these roads 2 feet, so you you go from 17 feet to 19, or from 18 to 20, where we're cutting trees, we're putting signs up everywhere, we're moving ditches where we need to, we're extending culverts where we need to give people the ability to correct their mistake when they run off the road, and also to give them, when 2 cars pass, to stop at side swipes. Now, I get it, I can't do every road, I've got to go through our crash report, so our recommendations are the worst crash road to the least, but if we have money left over, then I'll be able to talk to the federal government to be able to move on to other roads.
Thanks, Nick.
Good luck.
Some improved signage too, right?
Yeah, all 375 miles of road will have new signs. We're doing a sign audit with a consultant who's going to come and do a sign audit, determine where we need to put the signs up and the average speed. Using a ball bank indicator will actually tell you what the design speed should be around some of these curves, so they'll put the suggested speeds up, curve signs, that kind of thing, so.
Excellent.
Anybody else in the audience like to say anything for good of the county? With no takers, I will go around the horn here. Magistrate Southern, anything for good of the county from your district?
Well, first, I'd like to say congratulations to Layla. It's a big deal to get chosen from your whole school, and they picked you. That says a lot about you. And when I look at the crowd, that says a lot about your family. So when you get older, you'll realize how important that family is. It's a big deal. Congratulations. The judge is going to take you out. So make him treat you right. And congratulations to you too. You actually probably come from a bigger school, so they chose from more people and chose you. So that's even better. And both of y'all were very attentive. I like that. You were paying attention, listening to. I hope you took what he said with a grain of salt, but but y'all were paying attention and listening and seeing, because what we do is not exciting, but it's important. And all's good in District 3.
Thank you. Master Tompkins?
Well, just as we all know, the continued work and investigation with all renewable energy and things like that you saw was in place today. So we continue to work and take it as seriously as everybody in the county does. So I just want to say I appreciate all the magistrate and the judge, because I know I've taken up considerable amount of your time with phone calls, questions, and, sharing research and things. So thank you for your partnership on what we continue to do there. Ladies, congratulations. Being a leader is not easy. Doing the right thing when nobody's watching takes a lot of self-discipline, and clearly you two ladies are very good at that. Congratulations to your families. Having a good support system is important, but again, it goes back to you guys making the right choices. If you continue to do so, I think, the sky's the limit. I look forward to seeing how well people of your generation is going to do for this world. So congratulations again. Keep up the great work, and that's all I got. Thanks, Judge.
Master Putman.
Thank you, Judge. I want to congratulate both Penny and Layla for being outstanding students, for sure. I know what you witnessed today is kind of like watching paint dry, but it gives you some background of what the fiscal court actually does. It's we handle all the money. We have to make decisions on how to spend that money, this stuff doesn't probably seem real important now, but as you get older, that money and how you handle it and how you pay your bills and all that comes into play as an adult. So, and you've seen us pass a check from Mr. Gold. It went around the horn here, comes in, goes right back out, basically. But anyway, your parents I got to give congratulations to those guys too, because it all starts at home. And we seen that crowd, I was thinking, wow. I mean, we were blessed to have two of you at the same time. So, although they're sharing different dates, so I believe so. But anyway, enjoy your day, enjoy your lunch, and like I say, the proclamation is a pretty big deal. I always said someday I'll do something maybe to get one. I don't know. It's I've been around a long time, and I've yet nobody's recognized me. So, but anyway, it's a great job. Keep up the good work. I tell you, your family just got to keep on doing what you're doing, because it seems to be working. Two great young ladies. And Judge, I think everything is pretty good in the fourth. Thank you.
Master Starks.
Thank you, Judge. Good morning, everybody. And I just want to echo what has already been said to our two guests here this morning, Layla and Penny. And I kind of think of you as a pair of aces, because you are tops in your school, and you're tops today in a deck full of jokers. Nick, you're included in that. But seriously, well done, and keep it up. You're on the right path. And to the parents, thank you, and grandparents, extended family. You have some very special people here, and we recognize that. And we're glad that we can continue to partner with our school to provide this opportunity. Butch, I'm a little disappointed.
I forgot.
You forgot the Red Kettle campaign.
I did. I thought about it when I stopped.
Well, I'm gonna bail you out right now, because the red kettles are out.
I appreciate it.
We've got the thermometer, the lights out here on the front lawn of the courthouse. You can see the progress. Please help support the Red Kettle campaign for the Salvation Army. It really helps to keep us not just here at the holiday season, but going all the way into pretty much the middle part of next year. And as we all know, times are tough, and we're trying to feed people, we're trying to clothe people, and also the angel trees, please support those as well. And there's a new app that you can go online, go to the Salvation Army Facebook page, and you can actually sign up to ring the bell, which is a fun thing to do, especially with your family or with coworkers or church members, whatever it might be, best friend, and help ring the bells, because we need as many volunteers as we can possibly can to do that. And I also want to plug that Thanksgiving Day, this Thursday, we will have the meal at the Center for Hope, and everyone's invited to that. It's free and open, and it's going to be a great day. We've got a lot of volunteers helping with that, and we appreciate that. And that's just a tradition there at the Center for Hope on Washington Street. Shop local. We got a big event Saturday. But all through this holiday season, I hope that folks will consider spending their dollars locally, helping their local neighbors. And of course, the Giving Tuesday is December 3rd, which helps nonprofits of all types. I'd like to put in a special request, if you can think of helping the fine arts. I know the Henderson Area Arts Alliance would really appreciate that, or the Salvation Army, or Steve, you may have one in mind. So, and then last but not least, Christmas Parade. I'm excited about being a part of that again this year, and hope that folks will come down and enjoy that. Hopefully the weather's going to be copacetic, and just everybody have a great holiday, a safe holiday. Stay warm. It's going to get cold. And then also thanks to the volunteers who are going to help out all throughout this winter season, opening up shelters if needed for the warming centers. And I know they've been working hard on that to be prepared for this coming winter weather. So that's it. Everything else is good.
Thank you, Master Barry.
You know, Butch, a good thing about going before Magistrate Starks, if you forget something, he's got it. Good thing about going after him, I'm done. No, I'm kidding.
And I did, Bill.
Hey,
Right when I stopped, I said,
What can I say? I don't know what to say after all that. Congratulations, girls. Miss Penny, what are you going to eat for lunch? You don't know? Well, get something good. Get something good. Layla, where are you going? You can think about it. Make the judge. Eat plenty. Eat
I'm
plenty.
going to bring Layla to our Lions Club meeting.
Oh, there you go.
And have her experience that, and trust me, she will get as many desserts
Good.
as
All
she
right.
wants from the
There you
Lions.
go. That sounds good.
Warning, there's singing involved.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Yeah, there could be something involved. Be careful. Be careful. But congratulate both you girls. Excellent. Excellent. You've done a good job, no doubt. Congratulations to the parents. Starts at home, like somebody already said, but that shows that it's going well. Good girls. Thank everybody for coming. Jailer Todd, Brenda, everybody. Oh, Nick. It's always nice to have Nick up here talking, but thank you, Nick, for the job you do. Thank everybody. Judge?
Master Barry, would you do the honors of organizing our float in the Christmas parade?
I'm glad you mentioned that. I've already talked about that to Jared Shehorn, because I probably won't be here, but he says if you want to do it, we'll get it done. And he will pull the float with one of his trailers and take care of the whole works.
Is everybody, we normally ride together in a trailer. I like the fact that we do that, do it together. I was offered the chance to ride in the back of a vintage convertible automobile. I said, no, thank you. We ride together in the Christmas parade. I hope you all are willing to participate, but it looks like we will have that
He told me
covered.
to let him know, and
Yep.
I'll talk to him today.
Please do.
Yep.
Mr. Gold.
Thank you, Judge. So again, congratulations, ladies. I told you we're going to embarrass you a lot, and we're going to say a lot of great things about you. It's because you all are doing great things, and you wouldn't have been picked if that wasn't the case. But you've got clearly a lot of support from your families, and I know some members of your families, and I'm not surprised at all that you're here with these awards and honors. The family's the backbone of a strong community, and the fact that you all rolled in here with such a lot of family support, that really underscores that. And I feel good about Henderson and its future, knowing that you all are here and have such support from your families. So just very impressed with both of you, and keep up the good work. Speaking of what Magistrate Starks was talking about, I want to thank him for attending the Boys and Girls Club Chef's Giving event. It was fantastic.
My pleasure. Yeah,
it was a lot of fun. I wasn't even sure what it was going to be like, and I think it was such a big hit that there will be a lot more people next year. Nobody left hungry.
No.
It was a great event. The Boys and Girls Club does also have a Christmas auction coming up December 10th, which is a Tuesday at Fire Dome at 5:30. There will be an auction, all kinds of other fun stuff go on. So if you weren't able to make Chef's Giving, please stop by Fire Dome at 5:30 on December 10th. Help out, help the future of Henderson. Reflecting on the meeting today, I don't know about you all, if any of you have considered accounting as a major. I've never been happier that my daughter, one of her majors is accounting right now. I was like, there's clearly a need. If the animal control has to pay $19,000 just to get their small account audited, I was very happy to hear that she's an accounting major and doing that. Of course, Thanksgiving's coming up, and I just want to say I'm very thankful to work with this fiscal court and the staff of Henderson County, particularly the staff of the Henderson County Attorney's Office. I have the most dedicated group of public servants you would ever meet that I have the pleasure and blessing to get to work with. So that's one of the many, many things that I'm thankful for this Thanksgiving season.
Thank you, Mr. Gold. Layla, Penny, again, congratulations. It's a big deal. I'm glad we're able to accommodate Layla. I'm also looking forward to taking the Lions Club. Can't wait to hear your singing voice. Should be interesting. And congratulations to the families. This is truly a big deal, and I hope the proclamations that we gave hang on their walls for a long, long time. Take them to college. Hang them on your walls in college. You get asked about them. You get to tell the story, and I think that's pretty cool. So congratulations again. I want to give Layla and Penny credit. We keep saying that what we do is boring but important. I look at today's agenda and think it was probably anything but boring, and I think they understand that. The variety of topics that we covered today are a great example of all the things that end up being the responsibility of fiscal court. Everything from animal control to roads to parks to solar installations and other zoning questions. It always covers the gamut, and I think Penny and Layla understand that it's all important. It's all important. It impacts you and your families, and that's why I'm glad that we have a really thoughtful, passionate group of public servants serving on this fiscal court, because it takes good decision making. We do the very best we can, no doubt. I too am very thankful. I want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. I hope everybody gets to spend time with their families. I'm going to be heading to the West Coast to spend time with my siblings and my stepdad. And when you get later in life, like many of us are, you just never know when you're going to have that too many more opportunities. So very thankful for that. And so I'm going to be flying tomorrow across the country. Y'all need to pray for me because I have at least one connection to make. It's the heaviest travel day of the year. 3 million Americans will be in the air tomorrow, and I hope I'm one of them. And I don't leave the air prematurely. Yeah. So with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second. We have a motion in several seconds. All those in favor can leave.